Ah. This bit is definitely being cut out. Anyway. Hello, everybody. It's me, your friendly neighborhood dinosaur nerd. I've been gone. I'm back now. I've been gone for about a week. Probably more. I don't know exactly. But I want to get back to making YouTube videos. It's been a very long time. I want to make more videos. Yeah. I'm quitting Minecraft videos because I've already exhausted all the material there. I've showcased all the major mods that haven't already been showcased by other people. Yeah. So you will not be seeing any more Minecraft videos anytime soon. But that does not mean I have quit YouTube. That doesn't even mean I've quit gaming videos. Soon I'll be taking down the video where I decide I'm not going to be making gaming videos anymore, because that's old news, and it's wrong now. I will still be making Zoo Tycoon 2 videos, I just won't be playing any other games. So my next video will be part 1 of my series of me making a zoo in Zoo Tycoon 2. And I actually have an upload schedule now. The schedule does not dictate when I upload videos. I decide when I upload videos, because I have a life outside of YouTube. And I'm not going to get so sucked into it that, say, Monday is my day to make a Zoo Tycoon 2 prehistoric episode. Oh, sorry, buddy, I can't come over to your house and spend the night. I need to make a Zoo Tycoon 2 video. No, I'm not going to get sucked into that. I decide when I upload the videos. I just have an order in which I upload them now, so that I can have my content a little more organized than it is right now. Because ever since I started my video, I just randomly hop on and record some Minecraft footage. So, my new schedule. My next video will be episode 1 of Zoo Tycoon 2. I'll do 2 parts in Zoo Tycoon 2. My original plan was to do 1 park on a very large map. Half of the map be prehistoric, and half of the map be modern animals. But I eventually decided that there are so many cool prehistoric animals modded into the game, and even in the base game, since I have the Extinct Animals DLC, and there are so many cool modern animals that I have in the base game, and the DLC, and the mods, because I've gotten into modding, and I want to show off some of the cool mods that I found, and hopefully get other people to download them, because they're really cool. But anyway, so my next video will be Zoo Tycoon 2 Modern Zoo, not for Prehistoric Zoo. Then after that will be a comic, because yes, my comics are actually going to exist at some point. I've been planning them. The planning period for the first few is done, and the process of illustrating them. They will be here. And so the Zoo Tycoon 2 video will be in a couple days. My first comic will be sometime this week or next week, depending on how long it takes to illustrate it. So yeah, and then after that will just be miscellaneous paleontology or biology videos, which will probably end up being me rambling. But that's all this channel has ever been. So you're either used to that, or you're new here. If you're used to that, you probably know what's about to happen. I'm going to go on a long tangent that's unrelated to the video, and I'm not going to cut it out, because really that's the whole appeal of my channel. And if you're new here, now you know what's going to happen. Welcome. I hope you like it here. If you don't, that's okay. You don't have to watch my videos. I don't rely on YouTube for emotional support. Don't feel like you have to pretend to like my videos because you want me to be happy. I honestly don't care what happens with my YouTube channel. I just like making videos And I kind of like it when people enjoy my videos, but if you don't like my videos, that's neither of our problem. You just don't like the kind of videos I'm making, and that's okay. See, I was right. I went on a tangent. I know myself too well. Anyway, somehow while I've been gone, I managed to get to 10 subscribers. If you've been subscribed since before the incident, thank you. I'm glad that you've enjoyed my videos and that you've been here for so long. Less than a year, but it feels like it's been a long time. If you subscribed after the incident, thank you. I would kind of like for you to comment. It feels... I have 10 subscribers, but it feels like I have no subscribers because no one is commenting. You don't need to comment if you don't want to, but I'd kind of like it if occasionally people would comment on my videos, because it feels empty, and it feels like I don't really have 10 subscribers and YouTube is just telling me I do. Because there's no evidence that my subscribers exist, other than they've subscribed. And that could be the algorithm tricking me, even though I know it isn't. What was I talking about? I've genuinely forgotten what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Thank you for subscribing if you've subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, and you think you'd be interested in what I'm making, you can do it. If you don't think you'll be interested in my channel, don't subscribe. You don't need to. I don't care. If you enjoyed this video, it's not over yet. I just want to get this out of the way, because I'm talking about subscribing, and usually that goes hand in hand with liking the videos, because there's no point in subscribing to someone if you don't like their videos. I know you're supposed to do this at the beginning or the end of a video. I'm not doing that. Oh well. You can tell that we're very professional here. Anyway, yeah, if you don't like my videos, feel free to press the dislike button. Feel free to comment and tell me why you didn't like them. The only thing I ask is that in your comment you try to convey a way I could do better. Don't just come here and make vague criticisms like, your zoo doesn't look good. Your voice is bad. You're a jerk. Don't say stuff like that and then not tell me how to improve. If people don't like my content and it's for genuine reasons, I want to know how to make it better. Don't just come here and give me vague criticisms and then leave. Help me, I want to get better. But, yeah, if you're gonna criticize me, I'm fine with that. Just explain how I can get better. Please. I've gotten a lot of criticism from one person, who I will not talk about here, for the sake of his privacy. But he never explained how I could get better. He just got mad. And that didn't help. That didn't help at all. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Well, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, liking the video. If you enjoyed this, if you found this amusing, if you're relieved to know that I'm not dead, if you've been missing my channel, and this video relieved you, or amused you, or just cured your boredom for a while, thank you. Thank you for watching the video. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, that's fine. If you think you can help me make my videos more enjoyable, do so. But please don't just go and say, oh, your videos are bad, and then leave it at that. That doesn't help, and I've gotten a lot of that. and there's never been any explanation for it, and the person saying it previously claimed to be a big fan of the channel, so I think they were doing it just to try to get on my nerves. But anyway, I'm not talking about that anymore. Let's move on to something else. We've spent too long on this subject. What else is there to talk about? I don't think there is anything, so I'm just gonna talk about the thing that you see on screen. This is part of one of my bookshelves. I have 2 bookshelves. One of them has 6 shelves. One of them has, I think, 10. I'm looking at it right now and counting the shelves. Somehow I never bothered to do that before. But yeah. And for a brief period of time, you'll probably be seeing videos from me more often, and then I'm probably going to disappear again. Because I'm quarantined right now. I am not sick. Someone who I've been in contact with is sick. I will not go into any more details for my privacy, for their privacy, and so someone doesn't decide, oh hey, let's find people who've recently had COVID, and somehow finds out who I am. I don't think that's possible, but I don't want it to happen. If you're watching this, and you know me personally, that's great. Don't tell anyone my identity. They don't need to know. I want the benefit of anonymity here. I do not want people stalking me and figuring out personal information about me, and if you're trying to do that, you are very creepy. Go somewhere else. You are not needed here. I don't want you to find my personal information online. I know there are ways to do that. Sadly. But yeah, I've gone on another tangent. If you've been here before, you're used to this. If you haven't, welcome to my channel. Anyway, what was I talking about? I've forgotten what I was talking about again. This was supposed to be a quick video. This is going to end up being a half hour of me rambling. But that seems to be the main appeal of my videos, so that's okay. Anyway, the thing you're looking at, this is one shelf of many that I have. Most of my shelves are full of books. I display dinosaur-themed memorabilia on some of them, and just animals in general, because I'm a collector of dinosaur merchandise. Here you can see I have some of the Jurassic Park Funko Pops. I'm collecting them. I have John Hammond, Ian Malcolm, Ellie Sattler, the Tyrannosaur, Blue. So yeah, that's what you can see on the left side. On the right, you can see a few of my Lego sets. I have a lot more, just a lot of them aren't built, because I have a lot of the Lego Creator sets, and they're really cool, because you can build 3 things out of them. But sadly, that means that you need to repeatedly take apart what you've built, if you ever want to build anything else. Which is fine, considering all the cool stuff you get. Let's just go from left to right with them, because that's what I've been doing so far. I don't know why I'm talking about this, other than that this is the image I arbitrarily chose to be the background for this video. So there's a pelican. You cannot see him well, because the Triceratops' head is covering him. You can just see his beak and one of his feet, and the little piece of wood that he's supposed to be standing on. But he doesn't balance well, so I just have him placing his chin on the wood. You can stand him on the wood, but it's very difficult to balance him because his beak is huge. There's Triceratops, which is the most recent one that I've put together. And I've put him in a little resting pose just because I thought it looked nice. And there's a chameleon. This chameleon is actually from the first Lego Creator set I ever got. I remember when I got it, I thought that some of the pieces had broken in shipping, because as I think, maybe, let me zoom in. As you can see, some of the pieces on his back, they look like half of one of those big arches. And at the time, I was unfamiliar with Lego Creator sets, so I thought that they were supposed to be arches, but they had broken. And I was worried. I'm just gonna zoom in on everything now. Here's a Triceratops. Here's the pelican. You can see that there's a little fish in his mouth. I would try to identify it, but I don't think it's meant to be anything in particular. And there's Blue. Here's Rexy. Ellie Sattler. And let me see. You can just see John Hammond's face. This is just some random image I had. This was not meant to represent my collection. This is just something that for some reason I had, and I thought looked like a nice background, and now I'm talking about it for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It went really far off topic, but hopefully you found it somewhat enjoyable. If you didn't, that's fine. If there's any way you think that I can improve upon this, please tell me. I would really like to know. But don't just leave vague comments like, oh, I don't like your videos. That doesn't help anyone. My phone is almost dead. I wasn't going to be recording for much longer anyway. So yeah, and either tomorrow or the day after, you will see a Zoo Tycoon 2 video where I will start out my zoo. I don't know what I'll be getting in the zoo yet. I have too many mods for my own good now. But that's fine, they're great. The only problem with them is that, for some reason, some of the birds in the American Adventures mod are glitched out. And half the time they don't move properly, and they never have the right skins. They're always just white. Which, if you want to have an albino eagle, is cool. But they don't really function properly. But I'm not going to delete the mod, just because they're glitched, because there's a lot of cool stuff in the mod, so they're just taking up needless space on my computer. But all the other mods are really nice. I have an eel mod that adds 3 species of moray eels. So, I'll be doing something with that. I figured out a little trick in the game to make an aquarium out of tank walls, and if you leave one space that will be the door to the aquarium, it doesn't fill up with water, because the water would leak if it did, and that would not be good for anyone. And you can put a roof over it, and put path through it, and make it into a building. You can make a lot of stuff out of it, but I mainly use it to make aquariums. And the aquariums always get filthy. So, it's a bit of a hassle to clean them, but they work well. It'll just probably involve a lot of cleaning. Even tank filters sometimes can't keep up with the animals. Like in my last aquarium, I had marine iguanas, and I had to sell all the females because they were mating, and they were making about 3 eggs an hour, I think was my estimate. Sadly, I did not take notes. I didn't know I would be talking about it on YouTube. But, yeah, they were producing a ridiculous amount of offspring, which is good, because I like marine iguanas, and I want to have a lot of them. But the problem is that they would go into the water, and I don't think this is an actual quirk of marine iguana biology. I've never seen anything debunking it. But I've read a lot about them and about related animals, and I don't think this is something they actually do. I think this is just the mod maker coding his mod weirdly, or maybe it's just the AI being weird, I'm not even sure if it's the mod maker's fault. It might just be AI acting strange. They refused to poop in places where it was easy to clean it up. They would get into the water, swim into the kelp bed, poop in it, and then go back to the surface. And it was very annoying because even the filter did a very bad job cleaning it out. And I couldn't really work on the rest of the aquarium because I always had to go and I always had to go and clean out the water, and my zookeepers were lazy and incompetent, so they made me do it, even though I paid them to do it. And eventually I got frustrated and sold all the marine iguanas except for 3 males. So yeah. I do not expect anyone to guess the names of the 3 males, but if you somehow guess the name of the 3 male iguanas, it's not something random, it's actually a reference that some of you might potentially get. Maybe. But anyway, if you can guess their names, I'll reward you somehow. I don't know how. It won't be money. It'll be something. I don't know what. I'll figure it out once someone maybe guesses their names. I don't think anyone will. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I've said all the important stuff multiple times, and I've brought up a bunch of stuff that had no bearing on the video. Oh, this is completely random, and I don't know why it just entered my mind. But what is your favorite prehistoric marine reptile? I want to ask something to my community just to see what the answers are, and to see what people's favorite marine reptiles are. I'm 90% sure that most people are just going to say Mosasaurus because it's the really famous one. It's the one that was exaggerated into a blue whale-sized creature in Jurassic World, even though in reality it was only slightly larger than a tyrannosaur. That's Jurassic Park for you. But anyway, most people are probably just going to say Mosasaurus. I'll be interested to hear your answers, though. So yeah, my favorite, just so you know, is Nophosaurus. Hardly anyone knows about Nophosaurus outside of paleontological circles, which is sad because it's really cool. It's a transition between plesiosaurs and land-living reptiles. It's part of a group that was once considered to be its own taxon, but isn't anymore, because a group that's intermediate between 2 taxa can't be a taxon in and of itself, because there'll be leakage into other taxa, and all the organisms in that group are not more closely related to each other than to other organisms. That's what happened to Prosauropoda. You don't hear any paleontologists using the term Prosauropoda anymore, and you haven't for about a decade now. Prosauropod is still useful as a generic term, but we don't call it Prosauropoda, because it's not a proper taxon anymore, because some of them are more closely related to primitive non-sauropodomorph animals than they are to the rest of Prosauropoda. And some of them are more closely related to derived sauropods than the rest of Prosauropoda. It doesn't work as a taxon. I don't know how I got onto this subject, but I'm going to keep talking about it, because it's one that I'm passionate about. No, anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Nophosaurs. Nophosaurs are not a valid taxon anymore. The different genera of Nophosaurs are still considered valid. They're known from good fossils. It would take a lot to invalidate them. But Nophosauria, the group, is not a taxon anymore. The term Nophosaur is still useful to refer to them, but Nophosauria is not, because the taxon is paraphyletic. Some of them are closer to derived plesiosaurs. Plesiosauria, by the way, is a valid taxon. Some of them are closer to non-plesiosaur or Nophosaur animals. they're not all closer to each other than to other animals, so they're a paraphyletic taxon. We can still use it just as a general term. It's useful as a grade, which is when animals are not closely related to each other in the way we once thought they were, but the term is still useful because they all do share some useful things in common that help us to set them apart from other animals, like fish. This is something I'm actually making a video on at some point, but here's the short version of it. A lungfish is closer to a cow than it is to a salmon, just evolutionarily speaking. A lungfish is closer to a cow than to a coelacanth, evolutionarily speaking. So, if a lungfish is to be considered a fish, and fish are to be considered a taxon, everything that's a vertebrate is also a fish. That's not very helpful. Fish means nothing, and everything that was originally considered a fish is just part of a giant group that's the same as vertebrata, and therefore shouldn't really exist. So fish is useful just as a catch-all term for vertebrates that live in the sea and breathe through gills. Well, that live in water. There are freshwater fish. This should be general knowledge. I just want to clarify that I'm not forgetting about freshwater fish. So yeah. The interesting thing is that there are actually some fish that are thought to possibly be evolving into tetrapod-like animals. Like the mud skippers. They can survive for a long time out of the water. They have fins that are transitioning into leg-like structures. In a few million years, they could very well be amphibian-like creatures. Sort of like how the injury could very well be gliding in a few million years. But that's something completely different that I'll talk about later on. If you want more information about it, since I don't have time to talk about it and this video will have to end soon, there's a tetrapod zoology article about it that I really enjoyed that I will link in the description of the video and in the comment section. If you want to learn more about why the injury is probably going to evolve some form of flight, go read that. Anyway, back to mud skippers and fish that might eventually come onto land. The coelacanth does not show any adaptations for life on land, but in theory it could evolve to live on land because they have small, barely functional lungs, which is already really interesting. But their lungs are also encased in bone, which is completely unique among animals. There is no other animal with bony lungs. So yeah, this has gone on for too long. Goodbye. I hope you got some enjoyment out of this. This is your friendly neighborhood dinosaur nerd signing out. And going to sleep because it's very late.